Blog Talk Radio.
The violators, knuckleheads, crumbs, and chain snatchers, terrorizing with numbers, attitude, and stature. Playing tough guys, but really chatty patties, picking on innocent women and children just like Gabby. Tacky, driving Rage City furious, but the one bringing the fight to them, serious. Put hands on you, feet and elbows. She's down to knuckle up with any and all foes. Her bros, B-boys, roughneck skaters. Rico, Charles, known as the Jawbreakers. Handle you today and not mañana. With the one-woman army they call Azana. Biker, duplicator, putting you in traction with the divine cleric and elder name Reaction. Vigilante justice, no apologies. Geneticists with bronze, we lead to prodigy. Speaking of brawn, this last cat's a massive titan. 3 bats, a hockey mask, and a knack for fighting. The Dodger, smash your head and rib cage. Violators beware, they are the punks of rage.
Yo, microphone check, 1, 2. Let me see the people. I gotta get the people in there. And welcome everybody. This is Friday night. We on another episode of PUNXofRAGE Radio. I think we on 90? I think we've hit 90, which is exciting. We've been doing this for about 3 years now, so who would have thought, right? My name is Joe Currie. I'm your host. I'm waiting on my co-host, D-Nick, to join up pretty soon, but tonight we got a good one. We're going to be talking to illustrator, creator, writer George Gant, and we're going to be discussing his creator-owned property, Beware of Toddler, and the Kickstarter campaigns he got rocking right now called for the graphic novel of said property, Beware of Toddler, Toddlerhood. It's already funded. We'll get into it when George get on here so we can really just kind of, break it all down as far as the, how this has gone. But it's been exciting to see how this is taking off. It was, I remember when, the first, he put, you have to see it, you can Google Beware of Toddler, but he put the first comic on his site, and it just took off like gangbusters, and, it was just really exciting to watch this happen. But until George come on, he should be on shortly. As I wait for D-Nick, I am going to get into the pull list, which is when we discuss stuff that's happening within the culture of comics and things that are related. What do I have today? I did see Ghostbusters. I'll probably do another show where we actually review it a little deeper, but I did see Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is the next installment of the Ghostbusters franchise after, I think they came out with one a couple years back, which, a lot of people didn't really dig. Some people did, but they felt they had to do another one, and this was the one that they did, directed by Jason Reitman, which is Ivan Reitman's son. It was pretty good. I won't do spoilers or anything, but I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I gave it, if I was to give it on a scale, I'd probably give it a C+ to a B- because it had a lot of really good stuff in there, and the angle they did with Egon Spangler is kind of like what kind of sold it. It was really good. The way they kind of told a story through, I don't want to spoil it, so I won't even say it. But trust me, it's worth going out to actually see. Spider-Man trailer. So everybody had been waiting for the first Spidey trailer to drop. It finally came out. No Way Home, with Doctor Strange. I'm sorry, with Spider-Man, and it looks like Doctor Strange is going to be his co-star in this. It was I enjoyed it. The trailer is a 3-minute trailer. I've never seen a hype big for like a trailer. Like they really hyped up the trailer's coming Tuesday. And they had like a kind of like a Q&A session for it, and they even had Tom Holland and crew watch the trailer and tease us the day before, which was kind of funny. But it looks like they had fun, and the Spidey trailer was dope, and anybody who's in the know is expecting it, especially since considering this a multiversal story, that we're gonna get Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire from the previous Spider-Man films to make an appearance in this, and they dropped some information today that Sony is looking into making an actual live action a new Spider-Man film, a live action Miles Morales. That's what I was trying to say. Tongue tied. Sorry about that. A live action Miles Morales Spider-Man, which I think will just blow the roof off. Like that would just be absolutely insane. So we're looking forward to that. Also, last but not least on the pull list is D-Nick and the Microphone Misfits will be all over the place. They're doing a lot of stuff that's coming up, so it's excited. It's exciting to see. AltCon Delete AnimeCon here in Chicago. They're gonna be at C2E2, and they're gonna do a virtual concert for PocketCon. That's coming up all in December, I believe. So that's gonna be exciting. So I wanted to give a shout out to D-Nick. I think he should be coming down soon. I haven't seen him pop up yet, but I'll wait for him to come in. I'll give him a couple more minutes. One more thing on the pull list, Black Panther. They were filming Black Panther, the sequel, I should say. A lot of things going on with Black Panther. Nobody quite knew what was going to happen exactly as far as, with the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman, how they're going to, push it forward. And, we all know in the comics that his sister Shuri gets that mantle, and Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, was injured, and they had postponed production for a while, but it looks like the injury was a little more than what they expected. She has a shattered shoulder and had a concussion, so they're looking at production to begin again in like January. So, I mean, it's already been pushed back because of the pandemic, and of course, what happened with Chadwick Boseman. Now it's going to be pushed back a little bit further. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that and keeping you guys updated as we move on. But looks like the man of the hour is here. I think I see George in there. Yeah. Let me see if I can go ahead and get all my stuff together. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome George Gant to the show. Let me see if I can get the mic live. Mic check 1 2.
Yo, can you hear me?
There we go. You know how the people are, George. With the people, they get excited when the guests come out. So they just have to
but it's
go ahead and. I know, man. I just Chicago, stand the F up. We in this thing tonight, man.
Yeah.
The chat's open, everybody. If anybody want to join, prior to you coming on, I was like bigging up everything you've been doing so far, man. Big props to you. Welcome to the show.
I'll thank you.
And no problem at all, man. It's just been a pleasure to actually watch. What I was saying earlier, I'm gonna repeat it. Check this out. I was saying that I used to watch you. I watched it was a strip you had prior to Beware of Toddler called On the Grind. And it was funny because I think I hit you one time, and I wanted because the experience in working in a coffee shop and all that. I had an idea too, and then I found yours. I was like, oh no, I don't know about wanting to do that, but now you've moved to Toddlerhood, which I want to kind of talk about that a little more. We'll talk about everything, but if you guys out there don't know who George Gant is, look him up. He was nominated for a Ringo Award. He's done on the grind. He had an online comic, The Reset Button, and now he's doing Beware of Toddler with a Kickstarter that was funded in 79 hours?
Yeah, about 2 days, a little over 2 days.
3 days for the graphic novel of said comic strip, Beware of Toddler, called Toddlerhood, which we're going to be talking about a little bit today. So if I miss anything, George, by all means, let the people know a little bit about you so we can get into it.
Okay. Well, my name is George Gant. I've been drawing comics since 2006. I'm Chicago-based, born and raised. I've been doing this since 2006. I was doing the Reset Button. I was doing On the Grind, and now I'm doing Beware Toddler, which I've been doing for about 2 years now. It was nominated for a Ringo. It was nominated for 3 Glyph Awards, and it won a couple other awards on top of that. And right now, I'm working on the book, Toddlerhood. We're in Kickstarter. We've got 12 days left. And we're about $500 away from unlocking our second stretch goal, which is an enamel pin.
Hello?
So it's exciting. It's a fun time.
That's what's up. I lost you for a second. I don't know if it's my connection. I'm gonna try to do my little buttons here. Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I was really excited. And I was, like I said, I was early, in the beginning of the show, I was talking about like how I watched it just blow up. Let me ask you this, and I didn't even write this as a question, but just off me wanting to know, when you did that. Okay, let me rewind that a little bit. What was the inspiration behind Beware of Toddler? I mean, I kind of got an idea, but just so the people will know.
Oh man, it's based off of like real life. It was inspired by something that my daughter did. We were playing, or we were doing like something, and I hid, and I'm expecting her to say like, "Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy?" Like, I'm expecting her to struggle to find me, and instead of her struggling to find me, she finds out where I'm at. Like, she just finds me. It was like a horror movie type thing, where like I'm hiding and like she finds me like Freddy Krueger or something, and I thought it was funny because she wasn't even 2 at the time. It was like right before her second birthday.
Okay.
And I thought it was so funny. And I looked at the first comic strip. I was kind of like hoping to do something new anyway, because I thought that the Reset Button comic I was working on at the time was getting a little stale, so I wanted to switch things up. And I kind of like wanted to do a parenting comic, but I didn't really know how to go about it. Then that happened, and it was all for races. I made a comic like real quick. I put it up online, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. And so I made another one. I made like a second one real quick, and that one just took off. And from there, like I knew, like, hey, maybe I have something here. Let's do this thing. And so I started fleshing things out. I actually made it into a webcomic, and 2 years later, here we are. It's like, for my 15 years of doing this, it's the most popular thing I've ever done.
Yeah. We all saw it. It happened in real time. For folks who follow you or have watched it happen, like we in literal sense just watched it happen. Now, let me ask you this. Actually, before I ask you that, my co-host is in the building. Let me see if I can get him on real quick.
Okay.
Shout out to Daryl Spicy's in the building.
Yo.
D-Nick. D?
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Mic check.
Am I in?
Mic check 1 2. Ladies and gentlemen, D-Nick of the legendary microphone misfits. Yep. You're definitely on. We got George Gant in the building. We talking about Toddlerhood. We talking about his Kickstarter. We talking about that rise to success he made that was that just, I mean, it's like you work hard for that. That it seemed like the overnight, moment that when it all just comes together when you have a successful joint. Let me ask you this.
I got to hear welcome, Mr. Gant. Sorry, George, I'm late. Definitely got to hear the origin story, and that's beautiful, man. And I got some questions about this webcomic stuff.
Okay. All right, let's go. Well, thank you both for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Well, I'm gonna do one more question, and then D can go take it from there. But my one question, and because nobody really, you're in the saddle of this thing as it happens. When you dropped that one strip, I think you said it was the second one that hit as hard as it hit, because it hit hard. That joint went so viral, I was blown away myself, and I'm just watching it. What was the feeling like, and did you think you could keep that up after that one strip? You got a hit thing now. Did you feel like you had, could go from there with this? That had the material.
Well, with that, my first thing was like, could this be a thing? Like, can I really do something with this? And that's pretty much how I attacked it. Was basically seeing if I could, kind of challenging myself to see if I could do something with this. I didn't think that I would, just because of how long I've been doing this beforehand, and
right.
And I did, and it's not like the most popular thing in the world. Like, I'm not going to get any movies or anything like that from this, but compared to what I've done before, this is miles ahead, and and I've gotten some pretty decent opportunities outside of Toddler because of it, and and I'm grateful, man. I'm surprised. I'm still surprised, but I'm very much grateful.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Just the humbleness of it all, man. No, I'm just kidding. But I got some more questions too as it relates. But we'll dig into it. D, you can go ahead and take the mic, sir. What do you have for Mr. Gant here? Shouts out to everybody listening.
And again, George, my apologies. For being late, man. Dual responsibilities. But the interesting thing about it kind of relates to this question. I don't know if Joe asked this already, but either way, I didn't hear it, so I'm going to ask again if he did. So you mentioned your comic catching wind virally, and you got the webcomic. What platforms? Just as a side question, this is the primary one. What's the platforms you have your webcomic on?
Well, I have my own site.
Okay.
It's like a WordPress thing. I decided to mirror it on a webtoon.
Oh, okay.
So that was probably the best decision I've done with the comic so far, because that's where most of the readers came from. It's a combination of webtoon,
right,
my own site, and my Facebook page, because I did start a Facebook page. And that one, when I first started it, after that second comic, I had 500 followers after the first week.
Can I do? I want to. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go because it's a little lag, but go ahead, George. And I want to follow up about the webtoons thing. Just what's the advantage? Because we've had two creators on here who use webtoons primarily, and of course webtoons has been taken off for a lot of other creators. The advantage of that, as far as having your IP on webtoons, what's some of the advantages?
The beginning is you have a place to just host your website. If you don't want to create your own page, or you don't have the time to do so, or aren't able to do so, webtoons is a simple way to host your comics, kind of like the old comic Genesis Steam Spot stuff. It's like a modern take on that.
Okay.
Just the brand recognition of webtoon itself, the platform is huge. So with that, you are introducing your comic to literally millions of people. It doesn't mean millions of people are going to read your comic, but like
it's on a platform with millions of people.
Right. Yeah.
So,
it's easier like to get your eyes there than it was if you were like doing it yourself from scratch.
Right. Okay.
So that leads to my primary question that I was getting to, and I'm glad that you said that, George. My primary question, because I'm a musician, right, as well as a comic creator. I have my own book, and you know, I'm a musician. My music comes inside of a comic. And as a musician, you know, we stream, you know, too. Like, we have a streaming, you know, everything went to streaming too. And I know, and this is a question I ask anybody that's streaming on Webtoons or Tapas or any of those people, because I don't know. I know for Spotify, musically, we get 3/5 of a penny per stream. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds archaic and ridiculous, especially as a black dude that was once considered 3/5 a human. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my question is, how much is a comic stream worth? Like, and I'm assuming it's based upon the time reading, or is it based upon, like, I don't even know what it's based upon. I don't even know what the parameters are. So how much is a comic stream worth?
So, what's that? Oh, let me think about that. What's that? I don't know an exact dollar amount, but I do know that, and I can only speak of my own experience. I do know that when you have like X amount of readers, like, because like if you have like a few amount of readers, it's like 30 people read your comic a month, like you're not getting nothing, right?
Right.
But and I can only speak of my own experiences, but with my comic and its page views, because I do average at least 40,000 views per month. The ads, like they'll like run ads on my page, right? And the ads from that may net me some money. Not a lot of money, but some money. So it depends on like the page views itself. I will say that like I don't make it like much of anything from it. I made stuff from it, but not like, you know, like food money. I'll put it that way, like food money.
Hey, I hear you.
Right.
So I'm sure like there are like more popular comics that, you know, they can actually make a living from it. I've seen like comics like make like $1,000 a month, but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it like nowhere near that. But yeah, I don't know the exact dollar amount, but I can tell you it's not like pennies, but at the same time you're not gonna like live off of it.
I hear you.
I don't know, man. Hey. It sounds very pennyish to me. You know what I'm saying? I hope the job. No, because when you know, and I'm not trying to get into your, you know, this isn't that type of show. Where we get in, you know, do all of that stuff. But this is an informative thing where, you know, we generally want to know, like, because and we always ask, and it's funny you say, like, man, I don't know, because a lot of the people that we've interviewed, I won't say we only interviewed a few people we've interviewed, kind of have that similar answer where it's like, man, I don't know. But I can relate to what you said about it's food money, because from, you know, like the music streaming services, you know, that's what our royalty checks look like. It looks like food money sometimes, where it's just like, oh, we can get a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, we can buy everybody a sandwich in the group.
Get a donut with that coffee, George, and maybe some fries with that burger, D. As far as the,
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I used to call it beer money. Back when I drank beer, it was like beer money, basically.
Right. And so so I just is man, if you find out, George, please, I don't care who we interviewing, what show we doing, you call in and interrupt us and be like, hey, we could be talking to McFarlane himself, and you call in and you're like, hey, fuck you, McFarlane. Yo, check out, this is how much a comic streamed is worth. Because that interview, that information is so vitally important, because nobody can ever give us a definitive answer, and I just always want to know, like, is it quantified based on the ads? Is it based on how long someone is reading? You mentioned the subscribers. That's good. That gives you a bonus, and kind of gives you a wherewithal to be like, hey, X amount of subscribers, so you gotta you gotta pay up something. But I'm fortunate to know how much a song is streamed for. It's 3/5 a penny. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't know you could break down a penny, you can. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, man, how much is a comic stream worth? If a song is 3/5 a penny, how much is a comic stream worth? And it's important that we know what that is. So, man, thank you so much for sharing that information, George. And that's dope. It sounds very Spotify-ish, though.
Well, and it's funny because D was coming on the show saying how rapidly comics is moving behind music as it relates to the digital technology, and to a lesser extent the way we do commerce with it. Well, I guess at the same extent, to be honest. And that was something he's been asking about for a while. And like I said, we've had a couple guests who primarily use webtoons as their way of getting their stuff out. And like I said, they didn't really have one person was just launching and one person was on it, and they didn't really have the answers toward it. So like D said, if you ever had an answer, just call up, text, just let us know. But hold, I want to do a shout out to Terry. Terry's listening. Terry, shout out from Third Coast Comics. His name is Terry Gant, and he says,
Terry.
He said, shout out to my dude. What did he say? Wait, shout out to my dude George Gant on the show. No relation with Probs, my cousin. Peace, Terry. Thanks for shouting us out.
Yeah, peace, out. Terry.
Yeah, my unofficial cousin.
Yo,
I'm gonna have to head back up to Third Coast when I get a chance. I haven't been over there in a couple of years.
Dude, you and me both. Like I always tell, he supports us. He got all our stuff there. So yeah, shout out to Terry, man, and big ups to that. But all right, following D's line though, I want to get into something that, as it relates. We spoke about how Toddler took off. Beware Toddler became this thing, and you posted some stuff today, some dope stuff. You did your Kickstarter. It was funded in 3 days. Shouts out to you for that, man, and props for that, man. I'll have to get my little points together because it's 12 days left. I can get one in before it's over. And whoever's listening, go to Kickstarter real fast. Put in Toddlerhood, TODDLERHOOD, and support this joint. I'm gonna say that again before it's over. Toddlerhood Kickstarter. Go and support that joint. But go ahead as it relates. The question about that is that as far as the using, is this your first time using a crowdfunding to get the funding for a project or no?
Yep, this is my very first attempt at crowdfunding, very first Kickstarter. With my previous book, with the first 2 books, the On the Grind books, I had a publisher. And that didn't really work the way I wanted to. And then with my third book,
we're going to ask you about that a little later. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
With the third book, I did like the print on demand thing. And one thing I didn't realize about print on demand is how expensive it is. So this time I figure I go to Kickstarter route. That way, when I get these books made, it won't cost an arm and a leg for the people to buy the book. So it's been a fun thing. This has been an experience.
Is it? A lot of the creators I talk to, indie publishers, say that crowdfunding, Kickstarters, Indiegogo's and such, they're not the future of indie comic book publishing. They're the present. They're the right now as to how you get your product out to a massive audience. Would you concur that? Would you think that's do you see yourself doing more crowdfundings, especially with success? I probably answer my own question, but do you see yourself going further with doing more crowdfunding?
Maybe. It depends. It depends on what I'm doing. See, the thing about crowdfunding, and the thing about crowdfunding being a present, that is the case for a lot of larger books and graphic novels and things like that. And that's why I chose to do that with my book. Now, just running off my webcomics and things like that, in my opinion, the present is Instagram and social media and word of mouth and things like that. But I would like to do another Kickstarter, but I don't want to be one of those people who just launch Kickstarter after Kickstarter after Kickstarter. Because it's very exhausting.
Okay.
And B, while it hasn't been terribly difficult to raise this money, once I'm done and once I need to send this book out, I would like to see what that experience is like before I decide what I want to do this weekend.
Okay, that's very, very fair. I appreciate that because and for people listening, because I know we've had other people, other indie creators who think that that's just the way they're gonna. I know a cat personally who's crowdfunded at least 5 of his. No, I'll say 4. And I've heard that too. That the amount, I've never done one, not really. That the amount of work it takes is just insane. It's not all as peaches and cream. On the outside looking in, we go, oh my God, funded in 3 days. Oh my God, you're looking at how many backers and how much it is, and you go, oh man. But I do hear the stories, the other side of it, that man, it's it looks like that, but oh boy, the work it took. But I got one more, then D, you can go ahead. We probably get into a little bit about Hound, if you don't mind. I'm sorry, excuse me. Shout out to the publisher. Word, but we gonna pause on that. With my next question, before we get into that, as it relates to Toddlerhood, is what can people expect? The graphic novel itself, how many pages? What are we looking like? What does it encompass? What is it? What is the actual product that's being produced? For this Kickstarter. What is it? What can we expect as a person who's probably going to go ahead and do it as soon as we're done when we receive it?
Okay. Well, first thing you can expect is 120 pages. It's a 120-page book. It's basically going to be the first season, what I like to call the first season of comics, which is the first 100 comic strips. It's going to be I'm going to have art in there, some production art, some art I did for other things, for all Toddler related. It's going to have fan art as well. And on top of that, I wrote a small story I'm going to make a comic out of. So it'll be like a standalone Beware Toddler comic, and the book will be the only place you can see it.
Okay. That's actually dope. So, okay, cool. At least, look, man, and you've probably said it on the Kickstarter. I'm going to say it again. Those who listen, go to that Kickstarter, or who will listen later. You got 12 days left. So if you see this, you hear this podcast a day from now, 2 days from now, 3 days from now, you still have a chance to go down there and pick up this book. So I'm just saying it now in advance so people can go grab it. Go to Kickstarter, look up Toddlerhood, George Gant, and pick up this joint. But anyway, we'll come back to this too, George. We're gonna jump around a bit. As it
I
relates,
got a question real quick before we. I got a question
go
before
ahead.
we.
Go ahead, D.
Yeah. Going back for a second with your Kickstarter, was the majority of the people who patronized the mission, I would say, were they fans that you cultivated throughout your tenure, or was a majority of it new fans? Because I think you said you made it like in 3 days, right? So like I just want to know, what was the ratio?
I think it was a combination of both. Like, the people, there were people that told me they were going to back the book, and they did. I don't look at exactly who's backed it yet. But I saw this math breakdown, and it was like quite a few people just backed it from Kickstarter itself. People I've never met, people I've never heard of before, while at the same time, quite a few readers had backed the book. I want to try to get more readers because I'm currently at 256 backers, but at the same time I've got like 12,000 followers or 14,000 followers. So hopefully the algorithm stops messing with me and I can remind them that we got this book coming out. But yeah, man, it's split down the middle. People like the idea. People like the cover, and it's worked out really well in my favor so far. That's
dope. That's what's up, and that just gave me a little insight on just the crowdfunding, because that what D just asked is what I've always wondered, because I'm still curious. Like, I've done a kick. We actually was at Indiegogo like 12 years ago. You know what I mean? And so the whole experience has changed, I'm sure, completely since that time. And we asked for a little bit amount of money for what we were doing at the time, just to get this thing over the hump. Not, people now will publish their book. I see like creators from Image, like Top Cow is about to do a crowdfunding now. We've all heard these crazy stories about people doing these, $1 million crowdfunding. So that's why I asked the question. You've just heard so much about this being not the future, but the present of how you produce an indie comic. So that's why I was curious. That's why I asked that. But yeah.
Well, one thing I noticed about it is that Kickstarter itself, when you put a book on there, that in itself is a great way to advertise. It's wild. So like they're like you said, like with all these publishers doing Kickstarters, I don't think it's about the money. I think it's the fact that Kickstarter in itself has become a platform in which to advertise, and that's wild.
Okay, all right, yeah, because that's what I'm seeing now. And I'm still like I'm leaning toward going ahead like next year doing at least one. And so that's why you just gave me me personally some great advice. And anybody listening, you just heard it. As far as that goes, as it relates to the Kickstarters. So a moment ago, I didn't mean to shout out the publisher's name, but I mean we're not gonna do any kind of hopefully any sort of I'm not gonna do any crazy stuff as it relates to that publisher's name, but actually when we look you up, when I look out for your bio, like outside on your own site, I didn't see a bio, but Hound does have a bio about you on there, because I remember you working there or working with them as it relates to producing some of your work. I'll phrase a question like this, and you choose to answer however you feel is best. A lot of folks are independent, completely independent. I mean, there are some of us who still work for publishers. Pros and cons. Mm-hmm. What do you think the pros are, and what are some of the cons as it relates to working
with a publisher? The pros are if you have a great publisher, they will produce the book. They will help you produce the book. They will help you when it comes to dealing with finances and things like that. They will help you when it comes to promotion, with booking shows and things like that. Cons are if your publisher doesn't do any of those things,
Okay.
or if or what, in my case, and what I've learned is that a lot of things that I did when I had a publisher, things that I figured out how to do on my own.
Oh, okay.
That's me personally, but with my experience, it just didn't work out the way that I would have liked. And it's cool, and it's cool. I enjoyed my time with that publisher, and great people there. I'm not really sure what they're doing today, but yeah.
Okay. No, you can leave it there because we didn't really. Do you have any follow-ups as it relates?
I did. No, I didn't. No, I'm sorry. Go. Yeah, no, I didn't. That was. No, that kind of summed it up.
Yeah. No, we were just curious. 'Cause I remember I could have sworn, if I'm not mistaken, that's where your on the Grind graphic novel was on. If my memory serves me correct. So some of the things I always ask creators, because everybody has a different take on it as when it comes to this kind of stuff, is that, and we're always learning, right? We're always picking up what people can do or how we can better ourselves with what some of the thoughts coming from a fellow creator. And you've been on here before, George. We had that whole gauntlet thing. Me, you, and D-Nick and Yuko chopping it up about everything. Some of the, just in your journey with doing comics, if you can sum up some of the gems, some of the tips, some of the things that you've learned about. Actually, let's do the gems first. Like some of the things you've learned that has helped you and can maybe help some other folks that are listening today, and include me and D-Nick as it relates. Shout out to Purple Pill.
Well, all right. Well, the most important thing I can say, and you and D already know this, is that this comics journey takes forever. Like it's not something you're going to master in 3 weeks. And that's like that's always like my number one piece of my advice, is that this is it's a marathon, not a sprint. If you really want to do this, prepare to spend at least 10 years trying to figure it out. But other than that, try one thing. I can also say, like, try different things. If you have an idea and it doesn't like click right away, try something else. And I guess like have fun with it. Like go into it with the mindset that, hey, I want to create dope comics, and you're going to create a dope comic. Too many people, and again, not you two, because you guys know all this stuff already. But a lot of people like go into this thinking, hey, I'm going to do this so that I can make $1 million, and that is completely unrealistic.
Oh yeah.
And going into it, and what I've learned, and I've done this, is that going into it with the mindset of making money will hurt your product more than anything else.
Yeah.
So.
And there are people. Matter of fact, there are brands. There are comic book brands with I'm not brands. I mean publishers, mid-sized publishers. That's the goal. Like literally, and you can feel it. That's a thing too. Real fast, and not to go on. I'm gonna go on a quick rant. Not
just stop.
No, it's just that it's what it is. Like we've seen it. Everybody's seen where like you can feel where like it's just produced for the sole point of just trying to get into you want to make if you've had a film in your heart or in your mind, you wanted to make a movie and it didn't go off that way, and so now you're gonna do a comic and thus, and so you can kind of feel that energy when the comic is out. Like not all the time, but I have, and I'm not gonna put those publishers' name out there, but I've felt that. Y'all probably seen some stuff. Whereas back in the day, man, you was doing a comic. The comic stood out first, and if things went if something else come of it, like, you know, you got like another, you know, a merchandising run, or you had other opportunities because the comic did well, then boom, that's what it was. But you put your heart and soul into what you was doing as it relates to the comics, as far as telling that story. So yeah, man, shout out to you, George, for that. You know, have fun with it, and man, be true to what you're doing. Come from the heart with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing that took me a long time to learn, because I remember I created things that I was like, hey, I want this to be a cartoon. I want to create a comic and try to make it a cartoon. Even with Toddler, part of me wants to see it in other forms of media, but I like one thing that I've learned is like focus on the comic itself, make the comic as good as you can make it. And if you want that cartoon, let's focus on the comic first if you're going to start a comic first. And it took me a long time to figure that out, and I'm glad that I did, because if I didn't, like, my comic, like, I probably wouldn't even be here right now.
No, I feel you. I would say, George, don't go for the money, George. Don't do it for the money now. But here's the thing: we're living a time now where, like, we've seen it now. Like, we've seen the explosion of comics in a way that I'll just say me. I won't speak for you two. I never thought it would be as pop culture as it is now. Like, now it is front street, main street. You talk to anybody in Hollywood, that's the number one thing that's happening as far as, you know, what's the money makers. Everybody is looking for the next big comic thing, no matter what that thing is. And who would have thought, right? So now, once the thing becomes popular and seen as financially successful, people want to jump into it, for better or for worse. They want to put their 3 cents in and see what they can get out of it, you know, see what they can come out of it. But anyway, that's a whole nother, you know, I can go into one of those rants and beyond. But, you know, straight up, George, that's what's up. And I'm not like one of those totally purist type guys, but I'm just saying, you want to have something for the art form, man. Like, when, case in point, and I'm not saying this because you're on the show, George, but you look at your work, the joint is tight, the line work is tight. The jokes are executed in a way that works. It looks good. It looks sharp. You know what I mean? It's some heart put into that. You can look at that and tell that it's some heart put into the joint that you're putting out. So, you know, that's all I'm saying about that. So, you know, we'll get into one of those crazy rants. We used to go on those journeys on here some time ago. I tried to keep it cool. I'm trying to see what Purple Pill is doing. I got somebody in the chat says my chat thing is not working right. So, you know. So I asked about that. Now, let me ask you this: what, as it relates, what's some of the hurdles? Like, what's some of the tough parts? What happens? You know, when you're in the middle of producing, what's happened that's been kind of rough to get past and get over?
Oh well, in my case, especially with Toddler, is the fact that I make these comics about my kids and doing crazy stuff. But at the same time, I'm living this life because I'm at home with my kids and they crazy stuff. Time is late as of late has been the biggest hurdle for me, just because, you know, I'm trying to juggle making this comic and making this comic look like something, while at the same time freelancing, because I do freelancing things on the side. At the same time, you know, I've got my kids, either they're at school, and I have to go back and forth, you know, picking them up and dropping them off, because my wife, her job is way more important than mine. So I do a lot of that stuff, and just like trying to, you know, juggle all of that stuff, has been like the big thing. And you know what? And on top of that, trying to juggle all that stuff and trying to take care of yourself at the same time. Because I had some health issues earlier this year, so I've been on this. I've been trying to take better care of myself, and that's not something that you can do when you're sitting down for 7-8 hours, a drawing session trying to make a comic. But just like time and trying to balance, you know, deal with the work-life balance. It's as of right now, those are my absolute biggest hurdles.
Okay. That's fair, because all of us are doing this, like, some stuff. Like, I was telling, we had a meeting one time with my crew, and I was like, man, we're all grown. we got bills, we got rent. and you got just regular life that sort of comes into play that hurts. But anyway, D, you got something you want to?
Yeah, man. I guess what do you prefer? Like, what is your preference of getting your comic out, or is there a preference? Do you just prefer the digital, or do you prefer the floppy, going to conventions, going to community centers, going wherever you can, going to the comic shops and selling it the old feet to pavement, grind? Like, what do you prefer?
See, if you asked me like 2 years ago, I'd be like, I want to go to conventions, but I'm paranoid now. But I like them both. I like the digital aspect. Most just because it's easy to me. It's easy. My comics are very easy to read. They take literally seconds to read each one. With books and with print, I enjoy that, but I am never confident with myself with print. Like, I did a book not that long ago. We finished it not that long ago, and the person I was working with got their copies in yesterday, and they looked good, but I was paranoid the whole time that it wasn't going to come out okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that part, but and I'm a little paranoid about conventions just because of everything that's happened since the pandemic, on top of my own health issues that I've been bouncing back from. But I miss the electricity of conventions, and I miss the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one thing about conventions, even though I'm paranoid, is that I've never done anything Beware and Tyler related with conventions. So I look forward to seeing what that's like, and I want to see how people react to it in person.
Yeah.
And so when I deal with that, that'll be a totally new thing for me, and that I can't wait. But I'm I love the digital stuff too. It's easy for me. I'm a computers guy anyway. I'm a big computer nerd anyway. So all this is piece of cake. I don't mind programming the website if I can. Social media is not that easy, but I'm figuring it out. But yeah, I like them both, but for different reasons.
All right. I feel you on that. Let me tell you something, man. The pandemic, I'm ready for conventions again. I didn't do any, and I didn't do any in 2020. I went to one, but I didn't do any. I think I went to the big one. Of course, you live in Chicago. The George. I went to the C2E2 in March.
Right.
After that, the world ended. So, going.
Well,
you
went to Anime Midwest. You did go to Anime Midwest.
2021. That was 21, right?
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. That's 2021. Yeah.
So, but 2020, that was on lock. I went to Anime Midwest and saw D and them do their thing. And D and them been out. They've been out as far as performing wise and selling merch. So they've been out.
Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah.
I do. That's kind of part of the. That's part of the writer. That's part of the tech writer. Must have merch table. You know what I'm saying? So,
you know what I mean?
So,
Well, and I think here's the thing. Coming out of the pandemic, just to touch on that real quick, George, was there a lot of people said this is reset? We get to start all over again. How did you handle it? Did you do any work, or did you just kind of chill? Did you figure the world was done? How did you take it?
The world's done. Hey, everybody, we're over. The world's over, y'all. It's done.
Yeah.
I barely left the house in 2020. I stayed in the house. like set up all of my home stuff. Like I had some decent freelance projects going on, so it didn't really hurt me to not get shows. So I'm lucky in that aspect, and because of I guess you could say I'm immunocompromised. I wasn't playing any games. Like I stayed in the house. I was ordering everything online. I was like, you know what? When this is over, I'll go back outside. But I already can't breathe enough as it is. I don't need to get sick. Like I know I took it way too far, but I was also working a lot. It was all freelance though. And I think in that sense, it was actually kind of beneficial to me because I didn't really go through the hustle and bustle of getting up and getting around. That afforded me the time to really work on my comic and then work on all my freelance stuff.
Okay.
So while I was paranoid, it did actually work out in my favor, I think.
Okay. Well, that's good because I was trying to figure out what the heck was going to happen. It took me a moment because we was doing a show, and I think the first couple of weeks I didn't do anything. I was just trying to I told D, I said I don't know what's up, but right after that we kind of the very next week we kind of popped into shape and just went at it, man. We it was
yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, what can you do? You just sort of, I had to start cutting off the news, just kind of moving forward, and just moving it along and just trying to figure out what was going to happen next. But that's why I asked, just to see whether you just kind of start saving up or just start building storylines and stuff. But yeah, I got a couple more, and then we I got one. This one. What's the best moment you had creating? And specifically, Beware a Toddler. What were some of the best moments?
Just overall, or just with making a comic?
Making
the
a comic, or just
whatnot?
the process, the production, or if there's a particular one.
Well, I think the best moment is just with the regular production, it's when I make a comic and it actually starts to come together. Because many times, when I'm making these comics, I'll have an idea of what to do, but it won't be really fleshed out or written out, and I'll just kind of flesh it out as it's going along. So when it starts to click, it really clicks, and when other people, when it clicks with other people, and they see what I'm trying to convey with these comics. Because you only get 7 seconds to form an opinion on the comic anyway. That as far as the production wise is are my favorite moments. When that happens. Overall with the comic, it has to be the Ringo nomination and just the Ringo Awards, that ceremony. That was crazy. I did it virtually, but I got to be in a virtual room with Dan Sakai. So it was kind of nice. I got to congratulate him and things like that, and that was pretty wild. And as far as overall moments, that's probably my number one at the moment.
Okay, that's pretty sweet. All right. And then unless D got any more, I got one final question as it relates.
Yeah, I got the inverse to that. What's your least favorite moment of creating comics or in this process? What's the one that's just
I want to say inking. I like to ink, but you know how you get when it takes too long. My least favorite moments has to be when comics take longer to produce than I planned, or when because I don't work on buffers. When I start a comic and it's later in the evening, and I know I'm going to be working on this comic for hours, and I just don't have the energy to do so, or I got to get up in the morning, take kids to school, or things like that. Those are the worst moments And it's just, dude, it's an inking, man. I like the ink. I think my inking is the best part of it. Like, I think that's what, that looks the best to me. But it just takes so long sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do I have a? I think it's just the patience, just the patience, me waiting. But see, you're an artist, so you can actually, you can go at your pace, and it be what it is. We write, it's a whole process. We got the assembly line to go through, and then we got to check and do all this stuff. You're pretty much a one-man show. My last question is the future as it relates to Beware of Toddler. What's the future of the brand? Do you want to go further? Is it going to be a Beware of Teenager? Like, how do we see the brand going forward? What are we looking like, as it relates to it, George? Or do you have anything else you got coming out?
Well, a lot of people ask me about that. Like, this is how I view it. In my eyes, it's kind of like The Simpsons. It's how, like, that's been on TV for 30 years, and the characters don't really age. For me, it's like that to a smaller degree. My comic is set up to where 10, 15 comic strips could take place over the course of like 2 hours. So I can go a long time and these characters can still be the same age. I can go like 30, 40 different comics and, if you think about it, it will take place over the course of a day. As far as like other ages and things like that, I've actually played around with that song. I would do like one-off comics, and I'll like imagine the characters at different ages, like young adult teenagers. My April Fool's joke this year was a Beware Senior comedy, where the toddler is now a senior citizen, and now she has to deal with her grandkids. So that may be something I want to play around with, and with like one-off comics, but still keep her like as a toddler for the most part. As far as anything else that I'm working on, like within this, I love that I enjoy doing a comic, but at the same time, I would like to see it in other mediums. I think that would be neat. There's a lot that I would like to do as far, especially with Toddler and the reset button, that I can't do in comics. So I would like to do that, but comics first.
Okay, that's fair, and that's succinct. I feel you, man. That's listen, man. Let me just say this. Just as an overall, like as it relates to you, to show that what you got going, man. You got a dope thing going. That's why I wanted to bring you down to talk about it. Like I said, the first time it was a bunch of us on here. This time I wanted to kind of single out, talk about, what's happening with Toddlerhood and big you up for that. 3 days, man. That's saying something, And then, the info you gave about your what's happening on Webtoons. That's really what's up, man. So. Man, listen, everybody who's listening and who'll listen later, you just heard it from George Gant himself as it relates, man. Go to his Kickstarter, Toddlerhood, check it out. You can go pick him up on Facebook, George Gant. Check out some of the works that he has on that, like the Beware of Toddler brand. He has it on his page. You can go to his Facebook page. It's a dope joint, man. So I just wanted to put it out there and let the folks know. So thank you. Do you have anything else?
No, man. I just, congrats on the success and keep doing it, man. And, we all like, one hand washes the other, man. And when you find out the value of a stream, the monetary value of the stream, man, let us know.
Bet. I'm gonna do that. You know what? I'm going to try to figure it out because I'm gonna have to do some math. So it may not be completely accurate, but I'm gonna figure this out.
Word.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it, and shouts out to everybody listening. Hold on, I got the people. All right, that was George, everybody. George Gant. Appreciate you coming down, man. That was dope. Listen, earlier I let the people know. One of the things I let them know earlier was about the stuff happening with you and the Misfits prior to you coming on. So we'll talk about that. But as it relates to George, and I'm gonna say it again, Toddlerhood, check them out. Kickstarter is happening right now. I'm gonna do mine when we get off the show. To support the cause. We watched this thing grow and grow and grow and grow. And D, I think that's a show, man. Is there anything else you want to add to a little shout out or anything?
You know what? Shout out George first of all for coming on, and shout out you, Joe. Hope you're not too mad about me being late, but I'll make it up to you. You're actually gonna enjoy what's coming down the pipeline. Yeah, man, and just shout out the Microphone Misfits, man. We working and we got a lot more work to do.
Dude, yes. If you guys listened earlier, you heard what I said as far as the date where they're gonna be at. December's gonna be lit up for the Misfits. They're gonna be everywhere, man, doing a lot of stuff. And I'm sure 2022 is gonna be just as explosive because y'all had a heck of a second part of the year, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's good. Everything I feel good. This whole thing is that we doing is dope. Shout out to Chris Turner for coming through in the chats and everybody listening. Let me give oh man, Chris just said his headphones went out. I'm sorry about that. We're still on, Chris, but we about to go in a minute. Shout out to everybody listening again. And my name is Joe Currie. You can find Punks of Rage at PUNXofRAGE.com. Everything there. For Chris, Dialexes, DIALEXCES.com. And D, you want to give the mic?
Yeah. The microphonemisfits.com. That's THEMICROPHONEMISFITZ. The Microphone Misfits. Who else could it be?
That's what it is, man. Everybody have a great night. We're gonna get some more folks on this show. We're gonna have I think I got some folks that's lined up, but I won't say it until it happens. But thank you all for listening and just supporting us, man, all this time. So peace, everybody. Shout out to D Spice. I see you, Daryl. All right, peace, everybody.
The violators, knuckleheads, crumbs, and chain snatchers, terrorizing with numbers, attitude, and stature. Playing tough guys, but really chatty patties, picking on innocent women and children just like Gabby. Tacky, driving Rage City furious, but the one bringing the fight to them, serious. Put hands on you, feet and elbows. She's down to knuckle up with any and all foes. Her bros, B-boys, roughneck skaters. Rico, Charles, known as the Jawbreaker. Handle you today and not mañana. With the one-woman army they call Azana. Biker, duplicator, putting you in traction with the divine cleric and elder name Reaction. Vigilante justice, no apologies. Geneticists with bronze, we lead to prodigy. Speaking of brawn, this last hat's a massive titan. 3 bats, a hockey mask, and a knack for fighting. The Dodger, smash your head and rib cage. Violators beware, they are the punks of rage.